Hello and welcome to the place where we highlight the talented, the interesting, and the entertaining from our area. That's right, the Paul Santos Show. I am Paul, happy to be here along with the sidekick of the century, the one and only Mr. Chops Turner. He's on the side right there.
Ah,
Here he is.
Yeah, all right.
oh,
Chops.
yo,
All right.
yo, yo.
All right, on the show tonight, we have some great singing talent. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest tonight, Mr. Steven Rodricks, a musical guest. And the man who has worked on saving the sound from local church organs, audio
Wow.
engineer Mr. DerekPicard is in the house.
Thank you.
All right. So let me know where you watching from. Make sure you hit the like button and share and things like that. We're great to have Chops with us tonight. So Chops, we weren't
Yeah.
here last week. We got to get caught up on the news before we get to the guest. Is that okay?
Okay, that's cool.
All right. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but the Portuguese man of war was spotted at Horseneck Beach last week. Did you see that in the news?
Now that's it. I
Yeah,
heard.
you see it. Well, the other story is down at East Beach. I don't know if you heard this. Down at East Beach, there was an even more dangerous fish, the Portuguese woman of war. Has a lot of tentacles. Has a lot of Well, the other day, Chops, I was driving down the street, and we're going through difficult times, and our prayers go out to everyone. Of course, here we're trying, break away from that and kind of, be a distraction a little bit. But, I was driving down the street, and I saw a church that had a drive-through prayer service, right? So I thought to
Right.
myself, gee, you know what? Maybe I ought to pull in. So I pulled in, and the pastor saw me, and he went, I think you're gonna have to pull over there. Get some extra work over there. Here it is right here. It is the one and only massage chair. Yes, I've been having some back problems now, so I ordered this.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
except that it didn't really work for me. So, I pushed one button, and it started to massage my neck. Then I pushed another button, and it was massaging my feet.
Uh-huh.
Then I pushed the third button. Let's just say that I don't have to go for the colonoscopy next week. Okay, I missed the whole fourth quarter of the Celtics.
Uh,
All right, let's get to our guest. Our first guest tonight is very, very talented with his guitar, and he can sing for sure. We welcome to our microphones the one and only Mr. Steve Rodrigues. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How you doing? Great to be here.
All right, we're doing great. We're doing great. Well, Steve, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're a musician, obviously.
Yep.
You're well known in the area. I see you singing all the time as I go through my Facebook page. I'm thinking, gee, I got to talk to this guy because this sounds like an interesting person right here.
Yep. Well, I've been knocking around the music scene in southeastern Mass and Rhode Island for, well over 40 years now. So,
wow.
matter of fact, we were talking the other day with some folks, and they were reminiscing about Andy's at Horseneck Beach, the old bar up in Horseneck, and that was actually the very first place I ever got paid to play music was at Andy's. And back
Wow.
then, they used to have a lot of the professional wrestlers used to hang around there. Andre the Giant and George the Animal
Oh,
Steel and all those guys. Yeah, so interesting times. But yeah, I've been at it for a long time. I When I turned 60 years old 3 years ago, I went to become to do it full time, and so I've been doing that ever since. So about
wow.
3.5 years of doing it to earn a living, and then
Wow.
of course we got this whole COVID situation that happened. So it's put a lot of guys like me into tough sneakers, but been there before, and you just got to tighten it up and
Hmm.
keep moving forward.
Well, tell me a
So
little bit about your little at-home setup because I know you're trying to keep fresh, and I see you playing there, and it looks like
yeah,
you're enjoying playing at home for now, anyway.
well, I do. It's just grown into this community, really, of people that met on my live Facebook feeds. I go on every Wednesday night on my page at around 8 o'clock. It started out small and then started growing. And I mean, the last one we did was kind of a special night, but we had like 1,300 views. Now, that doesn't mean there's 1,300 people watching the entire set, but that means that at one time or another, 1,300 people tuned in over the course of a 2-hour show. So it's pretty cool. And the beauty of it for me, Paul, and Chops, is that these people have grown to have it's evolved into many friendships from people that never knew each other before that have met on my live feeds. And now since the weekend after Memorial Day, we've been doing some small gatherings in my home outside. We live on the 3 Mile River, so it's a real scenic piece of land out in our backyard. A lot of waterfowl moving in and out, and we've got a lone swan that we think lost his mate or whatever, and so he's always around. But it's gotten so big that when we actually built the stage back there because the pallets were getting a little out of control. And last time we did it was at the end of August, and we had 20 musicians playing down here that day. Yeah, so it's been very rewarding in that regard. And we've put the tip jar out a few times, and we've been helping some local charities. There's a family in Portsmouth that are very, very close to my heart, whose daughter is going through some serious problems with cancer. And so we've been trying to help her. And we do some work for Good Samaritans of Fall River, suicide prevention. It's another one that's close to some people that I'm close to. And then an organization called Riverside Sisters, which is basically they set forth to packaging up pocketbooks full of toiletries and things that a woman might need if she was trying to escape a bad situation.
Right.
And
it's always good to be doing things like that. No question about it. Well, we really want to hear you sing because I've seen you perform many times as I've scrolled through my phone and so forth. And I'm like, I really like this guy. I really want to get him on. So
thanks, Paul.
we decided to do a little sample of something tonight. So what do you have on your mind tonight?
Well, I think I'm going to try to do something that I think everybody will know. So,
all right.
So tap away with your feet and sing
a little
along.
Toe tapping music, baby. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Steven Rodricks.
Well, there's a black man with a black cat. He's living in a black neighborhood. He's got interstate running through his front yard. He thinks he's got it so good. Then there's a woman. She's in the kitchen. She's cleaning out the evening slop. And he looks at her and he says, "Hey, darling, I remember when you could stop a clock. Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to say, baby. Ain't that America? Oh, mother free, yeah. A little pink house is for you and me. Oh, baby, for you and me." Well, there's a young man, he's in a t-shirt, listening to rock and roll stations. He's got a greasy hair and greasy smile and says, "Lord, this must be my destination." And he told me when I was younger, "Boy, you're gonna be the president." But just like everything else, those old crazy dreams kind of came and went. Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to say, baby. Ain't that America? Oh, mother free, yeah. The little pink house is for you and me. Oh, baby, for you and me. Well, there's people and more people. What do they know? No. Go to work in some high rise and vacation down the Gulf of Mexico. And there's winners and there's losers, but that ain't no big deal. 'Cause the simple man, baby, pays for thrills, the bills, the pills that kill. Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to say, baby. Ain't that America? Oh, mother free, yeah. A little pink house is for you and me. Oh, baby, for you and me.
Yeah, ain't that America right there? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, nice job. You know, I really like that selection.
That's
because,
nice.
Yeah, we're going through a lot
Me
of stuff
too.
right now. And,
We
you know,
are.
we really got to
Absolutely.
pull together as Americans.
I think that's an
Yeah.
appropriate song for us to be thinking about nowadays. Yep.
Yeah. Now, real quick, before you go, like, did you start playing the guitar like at 10 years old or something like that? How did that
No, actually, no. When I first started as a musician, I was a drummer, and but I could always carry a tune. You know, I always had a pretty decent singing voice, and I wanted to write my own material. So it's hard for a drummer to be writing his own material unless he also plays piano or guitar or whatever. So I was hanging around with some
Here we go.
musicians, and so one of them taught me a few chords to learn how to play guitar, and then not long after that, I just started sticking with the guitar, and I answered an
Good for
ad
you.
1,000 years ago in the old defunct Providence Phoenix that said rock band looking for a singer that can play a little guitar, and my friends convinced me to go try out for that band, and they wound up choosing me to front their band, and
Are you
rest is
from the New
history.
Bedford area?
I'm originally from Fall River.
Okay.
Yep, Fall River.
Great.
Yep.
Hey, Steve, that was really nice of you to join us. I wanted to just get you on, learn a little bit about you, have you come on and sing, and you know, keep those performances going. I know you haven't been gigging, but that's going to be coming back soon, and hopefully we can get out to see you in person.
Oh, awesome! Thank you so much, Paul. Nice meeting you, Chops.
Hey man, nice meeting you. You sound very well, man. Sound very good.
All right,
I love
Steve
that song. I love that song. I love it. Love it. Love that
song. All right,
song.
that's Steve Rodricks. How about that? All right. All right, now we're going to move on to our second guest. I want to say hello to Lance and Nancy and Pat and Jane and people floating around in Connecticut and Florida. We're all in the house tonight. And right now we got that gentleman right there, and he is DerekPicard. Welcome, Derek.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to be with you. It's great to be with you.
Thing about Derek, right? Derek is somebody who got involved in this whole thing with the church organs, right? And I know you're a local person. You're from southeastern Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Yep.
Fall River, is it?
Yeah, Fall River, brought up and raised.
Oh, we got two Fall River people here tonight. That's pretty good.
Well, my hat's off to the last guy. He really did a great job with that song. That was very impressive.
Very.
Chops, you're from Fall River too?
No, I feel like it.
It is a feeling, isn't it?
I'm from Little Rhode Island, man.
Oh, that's close. It's close.
Little Rhode Island, but a big voice. I'll tell you that right.
Well, chops.
All right, so Derek, how did you decide that you wanted to save the sounds of the organ music from church? Because that's something that you don't think of, but then you're thinking, well, I'm really glad somebody decided to do that.
Well, what happened was I brought up and raised in that community, and that church was, it was a part of my childhood. And when I went there to learn about the school, was closing. It was already pretty much knocked down. The church was going to be closing, so I said, gee, me, like everybody else, loves music. Music is something that's just timeless. So I figured, why not save the sounds from the instrument itself? It'll be around long after we're all gone. The digital preservation of something that has been the cornerstone of so many lives. The sound has been, weddings, funerals. It's just a special thing that a lot of people have associated a lot of memories with. And I'm happy to see that the church didn't close. It looks like it's still open. I don't know much of the details about the inner workings of that. It just related to the instrument itself. That is preserved.
I'm wondering, Chops, if you ever sang like, when you were a young man coming up the ranks, did you ever sing like in church or choir or anything like that? Chops, did you?
Oh yeah. I used to watch my grandma. I used to watch my grandmother sing in the choir.
Yeah, right. I used to like it too. It was good because I could just get like drowned out by everybody else. But I used to love singing in the church choir.
Yeah.
Good thing there were a couple of Chops Turners around to help us out.
Yeah. I'll attest to that. That's what.
All right, so we got some pictures over here. This is what he's talking about, right? Here's a guy who had some knowledge in being an audio engineer, and you went out there and you did what? You recorded the sounds the way the organ would record. That way you could preserve it, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So the way the whole process works is it's a sampling process. It's an old technology. It's just that the technology to deliver it has advanced. You have to hold each and every single note down for a period of time and record it in its completion. And then what you do is you take that recording and you chop it all down, like literally to the millisecond. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it really is like to the millisecond. So that way there, when you transfer everything over to a digital instrument, when you hit the key, it plays the corresponding sample that lines up with that note. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does, because what you can do now with computers, if you have an audio board and you have the right equipment, the sky's the limit, and that's what you did, right?
It really is. The sky is the limit. And now, to take it a step further, what ended up happening was a lot of the pipes were old. They just got, it's a temperature sensitive instrument. If it's too hot, the pipes they'll start to melt a little bit. They'll get soft. I mean, it's really lead. It's a very soft metal. And then, the cold makes them. So I mean, it's a very temperature sensitive instrument. A lot of the notes were out of tune. So what you can do is you can take the samples themselves and change I don't say the algorithm, but you change the inner workings of the wave file to make it in tune. And then what you can do is you can then assign it. And then if a pipe doesn't work, you're able to fill in that gap with a sample from the previous or the later, and be able to kind of modify that to make it fit. So you, in essence, have a more perfect, complete version than what was they begin with. Well, in the beginning it was good, but as time went on and it deteriorated, you have a better version than what's there if it wasn't kept up, which is hard. I'm not putting anybody down. It's hard to keep these instruments up. They're very expensive. But to be able to keep it in such a way that's preserved, but complete at the same time, was what this project was all about.
Well, the thing that got you started first, of course, was at the parish in Fall River, the beautiful St. Anne's right there. And this is a picture that you took yourself. So I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, not only is this guy an audio engineer, he's also a photographer. Look at that picture.
Well, Paul, I got to tell you, with today's technology, you hold a cell phone or a camera. I mean, the lens on these cameras are pretty good. I'm not the best photographer. I give credit to the camera for that one. or any picture that I take for that matter.
Well, there's a picture of St. Anne's, right? You're also a court officer in the courts here in the trial court of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start there. You're a court officer. You're also a singer, right? You do some singing yourself too, don't you?
Yeah, I've been involved with that for a number of years. It's just a hobby I just enjoy doing it. It's a fun.
So, John, you might want to get a pen and paper here. Okay, so he's a court officer. He's also a singer. He's also an audio engineer. He's also a photographer. This guy's like, you know what they say, well-rounded, right, Chops? Well-rounded.
Oh man, he's multi-talented.
Well, you guys have set the standard very high, so I'm just following your lead. I'm here because of you, so thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about
anytime, man.
Look at the tools this guy has to work with. Look at these tools right here. What the heck is going on there? I can't even believe it.
Wow.
So those pipes, that's from a EG&G hook. That's from Belcourt Castle. What ended up happening was such a tremendously nice woman, Holly Tinney. She's a special place in me and my wife's heart. She allowed us in for our wedding pictures, and she's just a nice woman. Well, anyhow, you find out about the projects that we're doing, and I found out about this, so I reached out and I was able to get the pipes that belonged to Belcourt Castle. Now, the purpose of the reasons why I wanted them was I'm not a big organ fanatic. It's a fun thing that it's an interesting instrument. It's not really religious. It has that connotation, but it's really predates Christianity. It's an old antique instrument. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked, but the reason I wanted those pipes was because I wanted to try to build a small version of an organ using antique pipes with new technology. In other words, electro-pneumatic valves with regulated airflow through MIDI that you're able to trigger the pneumatic and then send the air through the pipe. But you don't have to necessarily play it. You can load a MIDI file and have it kind of sit alone like the old player pianos, and it'll play itself. So it's kind of a neat conversation thing that's just a labor of love hobby type thing,
That'd be what you could do with Chops' pipes. You could really
Well, some of those pipes are irreplaceable. Those don't. They don't bother with the weather or the temperature. Those are just the way they are.
Chops, we like those pipes just the way they are.
Just the way they are. Why would you change it? Chops, leave it alone. Chops, you don't even need me to go over there to fix anything. Just keep it the way it is.
All right, so here's the thing, right? So, church organ, right? Then you worked at a church in New Bedford, right? I want the pictures I showed at the beginning. What church was that?
That was a demolition preservation type project. I found out that organ was going to be up for sale, so I reached out, and I'll tell you, nice guy, Morgan Proudfoot. Really, he's over there, and he gave me the green light to say, you know what, go ahead, do what you have to do. And I went and I demolished respectfully, but I also preserved. Nothing was really damaged other than the pieces that really couldn't be salvaged. There were some pieces that were just the leather on the those old electro-pneumatic things. They get dry rotted. It's like a leather in it. They just weren't replaceable. So the pipes, they're timeless. You can save the pipes, but not some of the other stuff you just couldn't. All
right. No, think about this, right? People that are watching tonight. He starts with a project at St. Anne's, then he works on a project in New Bedford. Okay, New Bedford, Fall River, that's kind of like our South Coast area. But his work is so good and so top-notch that
thank you, Paul.
Out to the Boston area. And now he's working on the Old North Church, one of the great classic churches that's well-known around the country and around the world. So tell me about how that happened. This is fantastic.
Well, that was. I'll tell you, that's an interesting one because that's an old building, and it was last summer. It was very, 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 very hot. We had to shut off all of the fans because the fans were loud. It was a big building, and the acoustics were reverberating. So we had to turn off everything. And what we ended up doing was sampling each and every single note. I believe I'm the first person to ever do it. And
Wow.
just to know that we were there in the same spot where on that night in April, Paul Revere was involved with those, gentlemen that ran up to hang the lanterns in the tower. It's just a neat experience to be in that building when it was completely unoccupied at that time of night, but also know the history that was there. It was just a neat experience. And the sounds of that organ they're just amazing. I mean, you can hear the age almost.
Wow.
They're just chops. I mean, your pipes.
Take your pipe, Chuck. Take your pipe.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta sample these pipes.
Yeah, just chops a little tender tonight. It's okay. I understand.
Just drink a little tea. You'll be all right.
Yeah, some green tea. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, but that's great because that old North Church, that is a classic. People know about it all around New England. People know all about it around the world, like Paul Revere and all that. I mean, to be able to work there after you've worked here, I mean, you must be thinking, oh, this is great. You must be really enjoying that you're able to make this kind of a contribution.
Hey, get out of here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's something that, will be timeless. It's something that will last long after we're all gone, and it's just a nice thing, it's harmless.
All right, so what else do you have on the agenda?
Right now, just kind of working on those things. I'm trying to build the wind chest for that project that I talked to you about with the personal. But my other hobby is keeping me very much, afloat with trying to record these songs and just enjoying that and having a lot of fun when I'm doing it. That's just really where I'm at now.
Yeah, well, that's the bottom line. Well, when I first asked you to come on, I wanted you to talk all about, the churches and the organs and all that. But then as I was scrolling through your background and your Facebook pages and so forth, that's when I discovered that you're also a singer. So Chops and I are always looking for singers to come on and sing like we did with Steve Rodrigues. So we're going to have you back once we get back in the studio. We've been kind of going back and forth to the studio. When you want to come down to the studio, we'll have you on, and you can crank out a couple of songs for us right there on our show. Really take us to the, you might want to clean your pipes out first.
Well, it would be my honor, and I appreciate it.
I'd love to have you come on as a singer too, because that would be fun.
Thank you, Chops. Thank you very much.
Good man.
And you do write your own music and all that. We'll have to get into that next time. You write your own music, and you're trying to convey meaning in your songs and so forth. So you'll have to come on next time and give us a sample.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Chops.
Yeah.
Really, thank you, the both of you.
Man. Good luck to you.
All right,
Good
Derek. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek.
All right. All right, it's just you and me, Chops. Now it's just you and me now.
Oh no, you! Oh God.
Well, I gotta tell you, you're talking about you got a few things coming up this week. You're still playing at Tomatoes on Saturday nights,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. I love it there. Mark's a great club owner and has a lot of respect for musicians and vocalists, man. I mean, it's something. A lot of respect for Mark, man, and his beautiful wife.
Right, and your partner in crime, your singer partner down there.
Oh yeah, my partner. Yeah, she's a great songstress, man. She sings like an angel.
Right, and somehow I was able to rope her into coming on the show.
Oh yeah, we talked about tonight. Yeah, she said that she's ready to come.
All right, I'll maybe interview her because she's a fascinating. She sings so great. I just want to get the background.
Oh yeah,
singing and all that. So I can't wait to do that. By the way, coming up next week, we have a dancer by the name of Dylan Carrero who's going to come on the show. He does like all this, all these dances and stuff like that. So he's going to be on next week. And also this awesome guitar player by the name of Justin Martin, and he cranks out all this like hard rock stuff, Yeah. And we have some big announcements to make on the show that we're going to make over the next I know it's a big secret. It might leak out. You know what I mean? Like,
It seems like you want to leak it out, man.
That's if we don't get canceled in the meantime. Hopefully we're still on the air next week. But if we are, we'll have so anyway, keep up that Sunday night, the Chops Turner channel.
Yeah, Chops Turner. I don't know how that other trainer get on there, man.
You get like 2 for the price of 1, right? 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thanks again to musician Steve Rodricks and to DerekPicard. Thanks to our sponsors, Bay Coast and Duso and Zader. Thanks to my good friend Chops Turner. And of course, next week we have Dylan Carrero and we have guitar player Justin Martin. Thanks a lot, Chops. We'll see you next week.
Welcome.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good night, you too. Thank you.